everybody, what's going on? Fabian for Liberty. Check out a video that I posted to my Facebook page yesterday, facebook.com/Fabian for Liberty. Absolutely chilling. Before I get into it, let me just say that we are in a battle for the Republic right now. I mean, it is amazing to see everything that I thought 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago was a conspiracy just coming to fruition right before my eyes. As I speak right now, Ted Cruz, senator from Texas, the junior senator from Texas, is on the Senate floor. Here he is here, doing a filibuster against Obamacare.
To my Republican friends.
I got to tell you, I was wrong about Ted Cruz. I mean, he's one of the few that's out there vocal, standing up, not only taking on Obama and the elites, but taking on his own party and the two-party system that's been an absolute disaster, that has bankrupted America, enslaved over 200 million Americans into this perpetual system of bondage, or cattle, as Robert Small called it. You may not know who Robert Small is. Robert Small is the guy in the video that I posted on my Facebook page. He's a dad, like me, concerned about my kids' education. Now, if you haven't heard about Obamacare, or not Obamacare, but Common Core, Obama's education mandate, a federal mandate that every school, both private and public, needs to abide by. Public doesn't need to abide by it yet, but all the standardized testing that private schools, need to basically comply with are those standards. So they're going to have to be taught this somehow. So it almost forces all education, even homeschoolers, to comply with this. Now, Common Core is all about, and I'm going to just, basically make it as simple as I can, but please do your own research, especially if you have children in the public school education system or government school complex. It's all about dumbing down the kids to make them little worker bees, right? Forget about, your child wants to kind of be a business owner, or maybe he, sticks out from the crowd because he might have some kind of unique ability. That's bad. We want to make everybody little worker bees so that they could go work for Google or for Microsoft or for Yahoo or for any other, company that's a government type company or is in bed with government. That's what Common Core is all about. In fact, among some of the highlights is it completely changes the truths about the founding of this country. In fact, it actually stops teaching cursive writing. Remember during the Trayvon Martin case when everybody was kind of shocked that the key witness for the defense didn't know how to read? A 19-year-old girl didn't know how to read cursive writing. They're like, hey, that should be put on trial. That's pretty crazy. Well, thanks to Common Core, you won't need to learn cursive writing anymore. Your children won't learn cursive writing anymore, which means, guess what? They won't even be able to read the Constitution. They won't be able to read the diary of George Washington or the diaries of the other founders. They won't be able to read the diaries of their grandparents. Basically, a fundamental transformation, don't you think? Detaching them from any history. You read in 1984, George Orwell's 1984, and really one of the central points there is that the population has been so dumbed down that they've been completely removed and detached. They don't even remember any founding principles that have at one point made them a good civilization. That's what Common Core does, ladies and gentlemen. It is sinister. And not only that, it basically makes not only your kids little worker bees, but it makes them something to go be part of the market. I mean, they're going to be tracked. They're going to be face scanned with facial recognition. That's why Bill Gates has donated $250 million, all these other companies, Google, Apple, because it's going to accrue. They're all into it for the data. It's millions and millions of new kids that they could add to be able to sell them stuff and track them and be able to give them coupons when they walk in and all other kinds of garbage. I don't know of anything as evil as really Common Core. I mean, there's a lot of evil stuff, but this is pretty evil. I've done a pretty bad job of explaining it. That's why I urge you to do your own research on Common Core, especially if you have children. But in Baltimore, back to Robert Small, he was at a school board meeting where basically the school board stacked the deck. Parents were sitting through this for an hour. They weren't even able to ask a question, and the questions that were asked were all softball questions after listening to the student superintendent, the school superintendent, talk about how great and wonderful Common Core is. Well, Robert Small didn't take it. He stood up and he said, wait a minute, this is crazy. I moved my family here from another county because the school system here was good. And now my kid's being prepared for community college. He can't be, if he shines and is bright and maybe want to go to Harvard, well, he can't do that because only maybe the special elite are the ones that can go to Harvard. I added that last part. Well, Robert Small was at that point almost assaulted by a off-duty police officer that was acting as security, was roughed up in front of the crowd, and pretty much for the exception of a few people, everybody just stood by and watched it happen. Is this America? Robert Small said, as he was being drug out of the room by a thug cop on an ego trip who, by all accounts, earlier on, was threatening to arrest people in front of a public building for handing out flyers against Common Core. Ladies and gentlemen, people ask all the time, will Americans stand around? Will the military stand around as they do mass arrests, as they continue to dumb down the population? Go to my Facebook page, and if you've probably already seen this, it's all over the place, so you could find it at other places outside of my Facebook page. But watch for yourself as average, everyday Americans stand by and let this guy be arrested, because he was arrested, for just speaking his mind, asking hard questions to people. Is it America? He was asked as he was drug out of the room. This is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you, I get comments all the time. Fabian, you've been talking about economic collapse. It's not happening. And, all this other garbage. That's for you to decide, I say all the time, I hope I'm wrong here. I don't want to be right. I know that I'm preparing for me and my family. I know that I've ratcheted up every single entrepreneur step that I'm in, all of my businesses, everything. I've taken them to the next level. I'm constantly working at growing my businesses, taking them to the next level because I think we have a window of time that we need to work on. And we need to educate and fill our minds with things to make us as strong as an individual as possible, because only the individual will be the ones that survive what is coming. Only the individual rooted in some kind of sound principle, rooted in the ideas of self-reliance and personal responsibility will be the ones that will survive what's coming. Watch the video. Get it out to people. Decide for yourself. I'm Fabian for Liberty. Thanks for watching. I'm out.